Alright guys, Tactical here, back again today, and I realised I did my intro just then the traditional way. I had some interesting feedback over the last couple of days, not expecting it on you talking about my intro, whether I should do it the old way where I go mental or the new way where I try and calm it down a little bit. Differing opinions, differing feedback, so I think I'll just do whatever the hell I'm feeling like on the day, to be honest, from now onwards. Try and keep you guys as happy as possible, because obviously that's the most important factor about any of these videos that I've been making over the last year or so. So yeah, like if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always. Today wanted to talk about a number of things. Wanted to go into a little bit more detail about the whole Crimsix Scump situation. Had another couple of things go back and forth on this that there is to discuss. Also, a patch that I believe has just gone live, or at least is imminently going live for Modern Warfare, which has updated and tweaked the Footstep volume, but not necessarily in the, well, it's in the right direction again, you could say, but it's not really the feedback we want to be seeing. So definitely some questions for you guys to discuss down in the comment section below, as I'm sure you will. So yeah, let's hop right into it here. Firstly, Sucri, Whalers, Keza, Nasty, and Byron Linney say that they are going to be looking for a team for the coming season after a good result in the 2K this weekend. So yeah, that's a team to keep your eyes out on going forwards. And also, let's talk about this UYU thing. This is something that I had heard, but I couldn't, I couldn't say it completely out loud. But you know, Intel Call of Duty now does come and say Pentagram, Zyril, Infamous, Tish, and Rex, winners of the first 2K, being looked to be picked up by UYU, and they say they're doing an announcement today, which of course may have gone live by the time this video goes live, but you know, no guarantees on that. It's difficult the way the time zones work, but if it has happened, that's very likely to be your squad. Let's go into this as well, just an interesting thing that I saw on the Reddit here. So Rampage Gaming, I believe this is like a, okay, so CoD Asia champion, this is the Japanese team I think in the last season. We can do way better without you, adding one of their previous players. Your time has come to an end. He is just a one-man show. We're going to build a team that won't resolve on one player like his team. By the way, who you bring into Asia Champs next, not important, just going to stomp your team anyway. Now that Ranger is out the picture, we'd go even further than his lineup did. And people have replied like, this is not a great image, and in Maniac, pretty legendary Australian. I'm pretty sure he's Australian, not from New Zealand. Yeah, so Australia. So yeah, a pretty legendary caster of the game and former player, I think, way back in the day. But I don't know, this is not looking so professional in my mind. Rampage Gaming, a team that won quite a few fans' hearts in the last season, and this is really not what you want to be seeing from a supposedly professional Twitter account. I love when organizations say things like professional esports organization, they have their own hashtag, all this stuff, and then it turns out that this is the kind of tweets they're doing. Like, I'm not convinced. Definitely lessons to be learned. Let's go on to this Crimsix tweet then, because we know that Empire, the Dallas Empire, have been dominating pretty much the online scene so far, doing great in scrims, doing great in the tournaments that they have been playing in. And it's pretty clear to see that the guys on that team, the Hook, Illy, and Shotzis of the world, are seemingly more receptive to the input of the older guys, Crimsix and Clayster, on their team than we did see, for at least from Crimsix's perspective, on the team he had last season on OpTic Gaming. There's a whole thing talked about where Crimsix pretty much had a go at Dashi, TJ, and Scump, those core three, saying that, you know, they didn't appreciate him to whatever degree, and they weren't listening, and etc, etc. So he comes out with this tweet yesterday, and of course this just adds more fuel to the fire, right? Adds more fuel to the fire of the drama and the kind of rivalries that we're going to have come January, which of course is very, very exciting indeed. It's going to be honestly fantastic to see how the Empire, the Dallas, or the Chicago Huntsmen, sorry, OpTic Gaming Los Angeles, if they happen to be an actual good team by the time January comes around, which I don't doubt that they'll be at least a solid team. But yeah, this is what he says: 3 scrims per day, and not a single teammate has bitched about how much we are playing. This is new. And you know, obviously he took some flack for this, right? And to some degree, okay, like he's just sparking things up. He's having a bit of fun to some degree, but at the same time, that there's no doubt that there is some degree of resentment, I think, there between Crimsix and Scump, right? I don't think this is entirely fabricated just for the drama and the clicks or whatever. I think to some degree it is, but I think there is some genuine point there about the way Crimsix feels like he's been treated on that old team, and looking for revenge and pushing towards that 40 championships, which he hopes to be able to win at some point. So I thought I'd play this clip now from Scump. There was effectively a response to Crimsix here, and yeah, his thoughts on the matter.
Did I see Porter's tweet? I did. Holy shit, emotional. Literally carried Sunday. I don't want to hear it for a fucking ring. Holy shit! Now I'm fired up again. Where the fuck was my team, huh? They weren't late for practice.
Search and destroy. Protect the assets.
They were late to Sunday at Champs. Holy shit, .4s?
They left you out to dry, bro.
Fuck me, silly. That'd be my second ring, but hey. There's my tweet.
Just heard us writing the article right now.
Holy fuck.
So this says some interesting things, of course, going forwards. If it really is going that well for the Dallas Empire right now, and those guys are so eager to listen, I wonder how things will go further on in the season, because I wonder if Crimsix would have said a similar thing this time last year, right? The start of the season, online scrims are going well. Of course, they win pretty much all the tournaments at the start of the year in terms of the online stuff, do OpTic Gaming, and then, of course, they go on to win Las Vegas. I wonder what Crimsix's position would have been last year, whether they had a similar perception then, or whether it was because of the initial success that OpTic Gaming had in the last season, that then it came to the point of, Dashi and TJ getting, egos or whatever for all the fan gas, and then they started to, at least from Crimsix's perspective, started to not necessarily distrust, but, put Crimsix down a little bit and not respect his opinion as much because they felt themselves as being the superstars and the hard carries of the team, right? And that's kind of what Scump gets across when he talks about the KD, and let's not pretend that Crimsix was a phenomenal player in Black Ops 4 by any means. Modern Warfare definitely suits his talents more, but there's definitely an element of the whole mental, psychological part of the game, right? And maybe that did come about after those first early successes, which really comes into question, right? If the Dallas Empire this season have a similar thing, if they also dominate the early online scene as they are doing, if they continue this great form into when the league does actually begin, are we going to be looking at a similar situation, right, where Hukili Shotzi are in a similar boat? Will history repeat itself in this regard? I'm not convinced. I don't think those guys are exactly the same type of characters and type of players as they are, and having Crimsix and Clayster on the team very similar in terms of their approach, had so much success in the past. I personally think that those issues won't surface, at least to the same degree as they did on the OpTic Gaming team of last season, as it's pretty clear that those issues did surface, at least to some degree, maybe not to the extent that Crimsix is implying, but definitely to some degree. So, yeah, be interested to hear your thoughts on that down in the comment section below, how this season will progress, because it's highly unlikely that we're going to have like a dynasty team that dominates the entire season. We'll have teams that are up and down in their league performances. And just to follow up here real quick before I go on to the next topic, Crimsix said the following here. So just in reply, so Mojo replies with effectively what Scump was saying, and Crimsix says, just to add to the drama, right, Seth did the same thing in World War II, except we got top 24. He went neg 18 and we lost by 20 points. I wasn't the only one who costed him on Sunday. In fact, 3 other people did, but at least we got third when we played bad. When he played bad, we got top 24. So that was Crimsix's response to that one. So let's have a look here at the update details and patch notes that came out from this patch that I'm pretty sure has gone live or is imminently going live. This is what we wanted to look at, and I wanted to talk through the Footstep situation in some detail here. So some general fixes, more back-end fixes to prevent crashes. Probably a lot of these things you haven't even experienced if you've been playing the game a fair bit, but definitely should be on the better end. These kind of things, they say this every single patch anyway. So Riot Shield, if you guys have been playing pubs, this may be relevant here. Fix for a bug when a player using the Riot Shield would not take explosive damage, and it would stow on players' back when using stim. So anyway, let's have a look at this Footsteps, and let's try and explain this here in some detail. So this is what it says about Footsteps. Adjusted to always play the walk footstep sounds when in ADS or crouch, independent of speed. Now, this is a really interesting and ambiguous way to phrase things, and the last point says, increase the speed in which you can remain using the walk footstep sounds by slightly pressing on the movement stick. Now, I think the idea here, as we'll look at in a second, is that when you're ADSing, if you were to have an attachment which makes you ADS or move faster while you're ADSing, that would make more noise than it would when you were just ADSing and walking normally. Now, it seems like that additional speed on top of what your normal ADS speed, walking speed would be, now that additional speed does not count towards any increased footstep noises. But it still doesn't really mean that the footsteps are any quieter particularly. So This is what an individual on Reddit comments. Let's just have a look through this a second. Footstep sound volume is based on the speed you're moving at. Obviously makes sense. ADS makes you walk slower, so you make less noise. Some attachments increase your ADS walking speed, therefore increasing your footstep volume. After the update, no matter how fast your ADS walking speed is, your footsteps will always have the same volume as the slower ADS walking volume, so you can increase your walking speed and you'll still have quiet footsteps, but they're not really that quiet. And this idea that you'll always play the walk footstep sounds when in ADS and crouch, like, are the crouching walking sounds now becoming the walking sounds as well? Because that doesn't sound like a good idea, right? So, definitely some questions to continue to be asked here. Like, are we ever going to get footsteps that are just silent when you're crouching and when you're ADS walking? Like, surely it makes sense that if you're moving under a certain speed, let's say you're moving under, I don't know, 50% of your total... of your maximum sprint speed, or 40% or 30%, whatever, if you're moving under that amount, so when you're ADSing or when you're crouch walking, something like that, then you're completely silent. Like, why is that too hard to do? Maybe, I suppose they just want to make it as easy as possible for any campers to figure out that someone's coming up behind them. That seems to be the thought process behind this game. So some challenge fixes, some Piccadilly fixes, but that's mainly public matches. The weapons fixes are maybe the most pertinent here. So this is what it says about weapons. ARs, minor hip spread adjustment, which I imagine is going to be a nerf to assault rifles. I think that I doubt. Actually, what happened is they said that they adjusted the hipfire spread in the last update, but I watched an exclusive Ace video saying that the hipfire spread on the ARs actually didn't change at all, even though they said it did. So I guess this is just adding in the slight increase in the hipfire spread that they said they were going to do. 725 reduced range. How much they've reduced it by, who knows? Hopefully it's quite significant, because public matches are unplayable for me right now. I can't bring myself to do it. M4, this could be a quite significant nerf. Probably not an outrageous nerf, but maybe to some degree. Increased hipfire spread, decreased damage to the head is quite a big one. So increased hipfire spread beyond what the normal ARs have got their increase, which I'm guessing is an increase. The damage to the head is quite a big one, because right now the M4 has a 1.6 headshot multiplier, which is basically what you used to get putting on high cal in the past, which is honestly insane. Like, if you get one single headshot at any range, it will reduce your shots to kill by 1. It's really frustrating to die like this when you can get absolutely mopped by someone who didn't intend to hit your head, but the flinch or random recoil or whatever worked to their effect. So yeah, that's all I wanted to really talk about today. Like, if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. As always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Leave your thoughts down below on all the stuff I discussed. And yeah, I'll see you next time.
RB, what's it? Yeah,
Okay.
Yo, can one of you flash my L steps? The mid step?
I don't have a flash. That's all Hutter.
You got it this time.
I don't have one on.
Got him inside. Need top L.
Top L.
Oh, I need it. Careful.
Top L.
Top L.
Bro, that was your nade, bro. Shit just fucked me up completely.
Nah, that wasn't my nade.